Hey everybody, and welcome to Touch Taste Thursday. It's your girl Rebecca with a K. I'm welcoming you to another episode of Touch Taste Thursday. It is episode 3, season 7. I have my guest tonight. His name is Nano Torres. It's gonna be super dope. He is such a great guy. I met him some years ago. We're gonna talk about mindset shifting. We're gonna talk about setting intentions. We're going to talk about creating a plan and sticking to it. We're going to talk about all of these different things. So put your comments in the chat, put your questions in the chat. He's super dynamic. I think you guys are going to enjoy him. It's going to be a really good interactive conversation. So again, make sure you're letting everyone know Touch Taste Thursday is on. It's Rebecca with a K. You share, you like, you comment. Also, make sure you are following both pages, my page. Well, if you're here, you're already following me, but make sure you're also following Nano so that you can stay connected, because he also has a group called Mornings with Nano where he does positive affirmations. He does a lot of mindset setting for the day, helping you to kind of set the tone for your day, for your life, or whatever you have going on. I think it's going to be super awesome. Again, welcome to Touch Taste Thursday. I'm Rebecca with a K. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been kind of doing this whole podcast, Instagram live thing for almost 5 years now. Going on almost 5 years. So with that being said, in March, we have something coming very special that I want to share with you guys. So make sure you are tuning in for the March Touch Taste Thursday, because it's going to be super exciting. I'm excited about it. I want you guys to be excited about it as well. So in the meantime, I'm going to get Nano in and we're going to get started with tonight's episode. I hope you guys are having a great day. So far, February has been like ridiculous already, and we still have 10 more months to go. It's going to get better. It's got to get better. The way it's going, it has to definitely get better. So we're going to just stay hopeful. And so Nano is going to come on and he's going to give us some ideas, some tips, some ways to retrain our minds, some ways to just get ourselves into focus and just go. Okay. Also, if you live in Louisiana, you know we have some upcoming elections. February 15th, we have our senators election that's going to take place. And then on March 29th, we have some amendments that are on the docket that are very important. A few are very important to me for what I do as an advocate, my advocacy work. Act 3, which is about juvenile justice. Please make sure that you read up on all of that. Make sure you're still registered to vote. Make sure you go out and you check the registry. If you've been purged from the rolls before, like I was, you want to make sure that you're registered. You should also get a voter registration card or something in the mail soon, just to verify that you are still on the rolls. Each time there's an election, make sure you're checking at, if you're in Louisiana, it's the Secretary of State.la.gov, I believe. Okay. In the meantime, trying to think what other announcements I have. Oh, seasoning. There's seasoning. I have tons and tons of seasoning. So make sure you guys are going to shopgeneellencollection.com so that you can get your very own bottle of Ophelia's Creole Razzle Dazzle. Also, you can go to RebeccaBrumfield.com. If somebody will put that in the chat, I'll pin it. RebeccaBrumfield.com so that you can purchase your own seasoning too. I have that available in spicy and original. Okay, so we have Nano on the line, so we're going to get him in. We're going to get started, and I hope you guys are taking notes, or at least go back and rewatch this live, because I think it's going to definitely add value to your day-to-day comes, goes, all that stuff. If you have groups, if you have teams, if you have people that you're leading, if you have you know, people that are looking up to you as a mentor, definitely put them on this live, because I do believe that Nano's going to be able to put some nuggets into their day-to-day going and coming, and just going to help you to expand and open your mind and set your day. What's going on? How are you?
What's up, Rebecca? How are you, sis? So nice to
I'm
see you.
good. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you. So a little bit about you. I met you about 4, almost 5 years ago,
Yep.
and you were just doing this dynamic speaking. You were opening up the room. You were just kind of sharing your story. You were getting people set. You were shifting their minds to greatness. You were opening them up to be able to receive the message of abundance. So tell us a little bit about who Nano is and how you kind of got into this work.
Yeah, no, first off, I want to say thank you so much for having me on the IG Live. When you reached out to me the other day and told me, like, yo, I'm excited. I want to do an IG Live with you. It really got me excited because I remember those days that we were back in New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awesome being back in Louisiana with you guys. So, but, it all started for me. I'm from New York, born and raised. I'm 30 years young now. So for me, it was more like growing up, I had dreams of becoming a professional baseball player. That was kind of like the goal growing up. And unfortunately, due to a season ending injury, it didn't happen. So I kind of had to pivot and try to kind of figure out what that next step in life was. And that's when I kind of got into digital entrepreneurship. I went to school, I got my degree, but I didn't know what I was good at. So a friend of mine kind of got me into like the entrepreneurship side of things when it came into like trading and investing and cryptocurrency. And I kind of started, dipping my foot in those things. But through there, I found my passion in speaking, and I found my passion in, learning about mindset and leadership and the spiritual side of success. And from there was where I was able to, kind of get into the speaking side of things. And naturally now I was doing podcasts. I was traveling the world. I visited over 26 different countries. I've got a podcast that's been ranked in the top 100 in the US and in Europe. So it absolutely blew up for me. But it started just with, my digital entrepreneurship business, and it expanded from there, which was, which has been absolutely amazing. So I'm just super grateful, for you and, for everybody that was involved in the journey from the beginning, because you guys have kind of seen the come up, and
Right.
I always show so much love to everybody and the whole family. So I'm grateful for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for sure. So let's talk about the digital currency. Like now that is really starting to blow up. You have a lot of people that did the Forex trading. That's how we met.
Yep.
Also, now they're doing more of the Bitcoin mining and different things like that. So when people are trying to get started in that and they're not sure, what are some of the best tools that they can use to get started?
Well, when it comes to crypto, people got to be careful in the crypto space for sure, because there's so many scams in the space. Because there's so many people that take advantage of the people that lack education in that space, which is messed up. So there's the dark side of it. So I always recommend always looking for a mentor, most importantly, especially in the crypto space, that can guide you in the right direction, that has proven results, that has a community of people, and that can give you the necessary tools and services that you need for you to be able to learn. Because that's what was given to me. If I didn't have a mentor, if I didn't have somebody that gave me like a course and gave me mentorship and gave me tools that I can take advantage of, I would have made a lot of mistakes. I would have probably lost a lot of money, and I wouldn't have been able to secure my crypto the same way that I've been able to do now. So I always tell people, yo, get yourself educated. But the first step is always finding that mentor, finding that one person that has the results, that is already making money, that is already helping other people, and get that person's guidance, do what that person is doing, and once you find a mentor, it's just basically copying and pasting, like Rebecca, for example, you could be taking the same investments I'm taking, maybe, if I get into investment, you could get into the same one, if I'm getting out, you can get out. It's basically just copying and pasting from that point. So, and then eventually you learn on your own and you know what to do on your own as well. But in the beginning, a lot of it is just following somebody, and that's usually the best advice I give people.
Yeah. So you talked about once you got into that space, you started learning more of like finding your own voice and speaking and becoming a speaker. So let's talk about that more, about being a speaker, commanding the room, commanding attention. Like, how did you learn, or did you develop, what skills did you develop that helped you to be a dynamic speaker and be able to do more speaking for businesses and small groups and just all of the range of different avenues that you do your motivational speaking?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. For me, believe it or not, Rebecca, I took public speaking online in college because I was scared to do it in person. I had a very bad first experience when I went to my first public speaking class. I was asked to do a personal object speech where for 30 seconds, you had to speak on a personal object of yours. And I messed up so bad. I messed up so bad. I was stuttering, my voice was cracking, and it was just a terrible experience. But that followed me. And it's funny because when I got into the business of, digital entrepreneurship, I realized that the people that were making the most money were the people in the front of the room. So I'm like, man, if I want to make a lot of money, I got to get in front of the room, but I got to overcome this fear of public speaking. So a lot of my beginner, lessons within the public speaking space started on Zoom. I started doing like Zoom calls, and then I started doing these like a little bit of IG lives, and then I started doing them in person. So it was kind of like a gradual step-by-step process. I didn't jump right into like public speaking in front of people because I was still too traumatized by it. But I did a lot of Zoom calls in the beginning, like a lot of trainings on Zooms, because it built my confidence there. It built my confidence to speak. It built my ability to know that I had trainings and I had things that I had to talk about. So eventually when I was in person, now it was easier for me to deliver the message because I already had practiced so much on Zoom. So it's like the person that goes to the basketball court on their own and just puts up a bunch of shots, and then they're in the game and then they're making those shots, but it was all the practice that they did while nobody was watching. So that was what it was for me. Zoom for me was like that basketball court where I was able to put up a bunch of shots when nobody else was watching. And then when it was time to, do it in person, I was ready. And that's what I recommend for people. Just put yourself in a position where you can practice over and over and over again before you put yourself out there. And then from there, it's just reps, honestly, Rebecca. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Reps. Like, for you, example, I'm sure you're not the same speaker that, you were when I first met you than you are now. Like, I could hear it in your voice, your confidence, your delivery, everything. Right. Like, but it's just the reps that you've put in.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of talking, a lot of work, and like you said, just kind of honing on the skills. So what are some of your mentors when it comes to speaking, and just some of the people that you follow and you model that's helped you to build your confidence even more so than just the work you put in?
Well, a lot of my mentors in the beginning were YouTube mentors. They were digital mentors. So I listened a lot to like Jim Rohn. I love me some Jim Rohn. Bob Proctor, Les Brown was a big one for me. Inky Johnson, Eric Thomas. Like in the beginning, a lot of my mentors were like YouTube mentors because I didn't have money or I wasn't connected to these high level mentors. Nowadays, I've been blessed and very fortunate to be connected with, physical mentors that I can connect with, like Alex Morton, who's, a top entrepreneur and speaker all around the world. Matt Rosa. I actually just got connected with this huge public speaker. He speaks for the biggest public corporate companies like American Express and, US Bank, Chase, all these big time companies. And I'm actually going to pay him to mentor me so that he can guide me and actually help me take my speaking business now to a whole nother level. Because, the speaking business is a big business, but if you don't know how to actually, leverage it and how to take advantage of it, it's hard, So I'm going to pay a lot of money, actually. This is probably going to be one of my biggest investments I've made, but I'm looking forward to it so that way we can take advantage of it and be able to expand on a large scale.
Yeah. So you talked about investing in yourself and, just using that time to keep growing and keep being a student, to keep learning. What are some other major investments that you would put on yourself if you want to get into the speaking space or the mentoring space outside of paying someone to be your mentor or your coach?
I think honestly, books it's a small investment, but they add up if you buy a couple of books, So I think reading books helps a lot because it helps with, improving your vocabulary. It helps with gaining knowledge. It helps with, being able to put together sentences and paragraphs over a long period of time. Like, I don't know if you can see, but, I have books all over my desk. There's a bunch of books up there. Like, I'm a reader. Like, I'm always reading. I'm always, preparing myself, gaining knowledge. I used to be somebody that didn't read, though. I used to be the one that made the excuses like, oh, no, reading sucks, not for me.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I got to get myself to like these books. I remember one of my mentors once told me, he said, the secret of the ages are hidden in books because people don't read them. And I'm like, sheesh, bro. Like, the secret of the ages are hidden in books because people don't read them. And I thought about it. I'm like, yo, I'm one of those people that doesn't read them. because I would always convince myself, oh, reading this, reading that. But in reality, I've learned some of my biggest secrets and some of my biggest success has came from, buying books, investing into courses. Courses are also really good. There's a lot of, courses out there that are not good, but if you
Hmm.
can find yourself some good courses as well, those are also really good investments. Events,
Yeah.
being able to see people in person that are good speakers is also a really good investment. So I would always say books, courses, and obviously events are always good investments that you can make. And if you could get private coaching like I'm doing now, it's a higher ticket investment, but it's worth the money long term because you get more of that one-on-one
Yeah.
kind of mentorship that can definitely pay off over the years.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. So let's talk about Mornings with Nano. How did that get started? What is it? And what is it that our viewers need to know about Mornings with Nano?
Well, Mornings with Nano, it's funny how it started because I was on a call with a couple of my, students that I mentor. And at the time I had started these morning routines where every morning I was just waking up and, I was meditating, I was reading, and I was journaling and in the gym, and I was posting it every day.
Hmm.
So, and because I was posting it every day, my students were watching like, yo, Nano's doing this morning routine every day. And my energy had changed. I was vibrating at such a high level. I was feeling good. I was feeling amazing. And I jump on these call with a couple of my students, just more like a check-in call, like, hey, what's up, Rebecca? So on
Hmm.
and so forth. And towards the end of it, one of them tells me like, yo, we've been seeing that you've been doing this morning routine every morning. Like, yo, why don't you do a call in the morning to help us start our day? I think that would really help us a lot. I had to ask them like, yo, what can I do to help you guys? And they just said like, yo, why don't you do a call in the mornings to help us start our day so that way we can have a
Okay.
positive day based off of like what you learned. And I'm like, fine, let's do it. We start tomorrow 9 a.m. And in the beginning, the calls just started as a morning mastermind. I had no intention of turning them into this huge call that they turned into, but they started as, just morning masterminds where I would hop on and teach about leadership, mindset, discipline, consistency, the spiritual side of success, and all these other things. And that's kind of like what it started with. But the thing was, they loved them. And, one call turned into another call. And then they were like, yo, why don't you just do them every day, Monday through Friday? And I'm like, fine, I'll start doing them Monday through Friday. And now, I've been doing them, Rebecca, to be exact. I started them June 20th, 2019,
Okay.
5 days a week. And I've been doing them every day since then. I've never stopped. Still to this day, I do Mornings with Nano 5 days a week now. And I absolutely love what I do. I found my purpose through it. I'm extremely dedicated to the commitment of helping other people become the best versions of themselves and just giving people that guidance, that wisdom, that knowledge that so many people lack. And just giving people that safe place that they know, like, you know what, I
Yeah.
know that every morning I can count on Nano to be there to pour wisdom into me, be vulnerable with me, be honest, hold me accountable. And that's what I've dedicated my life to, is the service of other people, because I just love growing myself, but also I love helping others grow as well. And that's kind of like how it all started, and it's expanded into like a podcast. And as you know, now the speaking
Hmm.
engagements and just so many other amazing things that I cannot wait for it to come and unfold.
Yes, congratulations to you on that. That is super dope. I clicked the other morning. I was up early enough to listen in, and I was like, "They're still going. You still got it going."
Every
So that's
day,
super
every day.
dope. Super dope. Let's talk about mindset. That word is going around a lot. Everything is mindset challenge, mindset focus, setting your intentions. What exactly, or what is your definition of mindset?
For me, mindset is such a broad topic, right? But one of the things that one of my mentors actually said, he says, you become what you think about most of the time. And if you can control your thoughts, and if you can, focus on creating a foundational mindset where majority of your thoughts are positive,
Hmm.
you'll be able to live a positive life. Because the numbers actually say that the average person has 70% of their thoughts throughout the day are negative. 70% of their thoughts. So how can anyone live a positive, abundant, joyful life when 70% of their thoughts are negative? They're filled with fear, they're filled with doubt, they're filled with insecurity. And if you think about it, if you become what you think about most of the time, then you got to make sure that the thoughts that you are thinking
Hmm.
are positive. are uplifting, are filled with abundance, are filled with joy. And that's what mindset is for me, is allowing yourself to control the thoughts that go in and out of your mind so that you can be able to create the reality that you want. And as long as you can do that, you know, the world is your oyster. You'll be able to create the life that you want and be able to be, do, or have anything that it is that you want as well.
What about people that are afraid? They're afraid to think big. They're afraid to think beyond where they already are because they can't really visualize it. So it's hard for them to dream of it. How would you suggest that person get out of their own comfort zone and out of their mind about the dreams that they can achieve?
You know, and that's a phenomenal question, by the way, Rebecca, because I used to be that person. I used to think small. I come from an environment, you know, I grew up in the hood, New York City. I'm sure you're very familiar with the hood as well. So, you know, when you grow up in these places, the thing is that the people that you're around, you know, they're thinking small. Everybody you're around has limited themselves to a certain amount of thinking, and you become who you hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're limiting their thinking, you naturally are limiting your thinking. And what I ended up having to do was I had to expand my thinking. And the only way to do that is by putting yourself in the environments where people are expanding their thinking. There's two different type of environments. There's fixed environments and there's growth environments. We spend a lot of time in fixed environments. Fixed environments are environments where people are limiting themselves, they're doubting themselves, they're negative, they're not striving for anything, they have no purpose, they have no goals. And when you surround yourself with those type of people, you'll always be limited on what you can think. But if you surround yourself with people like me and you, for example, right? We're people that surround ourselves with growth environments. We're always growing. We're always striving. We're always thinking, what's the next big thing that we could do? How are we going to grow? How are we going to elevate? How are we going to make more money? How are we going to help more people? Like, think about it. We did this IG Live to help more people. Correct. You know, we were talking about how we can take this IG Live and then expand into, you know, different speaking engagements and maybe potentially me coming out to Louisiana and the whole nine, you know. So we're always thinking big. So I always recommend people put yourself in environments with people that are in growing phases of their lives, because you never know. You may sit down with somebody and you think making $50,000 a year is a lot of money, but then you talk to somebody in this environment, they're making $50K a month.
Yeah.
That's when I started. Yeah. I'm like, yo, sheesh, bro. Like I used to think making a $50K, $100K a year was a lot of money, until I started hanging around with people that were making that every single month. And then I was like, yo, I'm thinking way too small. Mm-hmm. Like, that's when I realized, I'm like, yo, Nano, you're thinking way too small, bro. Like, you're allowing the people and the situations that I was around my whole life limit my thinking. Now surround yourself with more of these people. And naturally, guess what? I started to do that. And now I was making what people were making in a year. I was making that a month. And I'm like, yo, look, it's possible. But it was because I put myself in those environments. I stepped out of my comfort zone. Yeah. So best advice for those people is understand that, yo, everyone that's watching this, including me, including you, we're all capable of whatever we want in life. Are you willing to put yourself in the environments where people are willing to help you do that? Mm-hmm. And that's really all it is putting yourself in the environments.
So let's talk about, with the environment, that comes with setting intentions for your day. Like you said, you know, that's kind of how Mornings with Nanos got started. You started out your day, this was your routine, this is what you did, and then you did wellness checks or just checks with your group, your core group. And so when people are setting their intentions for the day, what does that mean? Because you have some people, they get up in the morning, they brush their teeth, watch, you know, whatever, and then they're on their way to whatever it is that they want to do, but they don't take that time to really just sit and have that time with God, or they don't have that time to just sit and think or process their day. They're just up, going. So what are some being intentional to set your day? What are some traits of a successful person that does that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Intentions for me is like, what's your purpose for the day? What do you want to go out and create for the day? So for example, there's certain days I wake up and my intention for the day is to have a really successful morning routine, because me having a really successful morning routine sets the pace for the day. They said if you win the morning, you win the day. Mm-hmm. You know, because the hardest part is the morning, if you really think about it, getting up, doing everything that you said you want to do. So what I like to do is I like to collect wins. And my goal, a lot of the times in the beginning of the day, my intention is collect as many wins as I can before 10 a.m. Because what collecting wins does, it helps you build confidence, it helps you build belief, it helps increase your energy. So I wake up and, you know, I do my prayer and gratitude. That's a win. You know, I do my Bible study. that's a win. You know, I sit down and I visualize and I meditate on my goals, that's a win. I read for 30 minutes, that's a win. I write my goals down, that's a win. I go to the gym while listening to some audios and some podcasts, that's a win for me. So I do all of that before 10 a.m. Now think about it. Think about how good I feel now. Everything else now is just easy now because I just completed the hardest part of my day, which was my morning. So now if I got to go make 10 phone calls, I'll make them. If I got to go close a business deal, I go into that business deal with high energy. You know, if I got to go trade or make an investment, I'm more consciously found in terms of the things that I want to do. So my intentions always, you know, vary based off of like the day and exactly what I want to do. Like, for example, sometimes on the weekend, I've learned that you can't let your weekend be your weekend, right? So I've always learned that, you know, because we've been consciously taught that, hey, you know, work Monday through Friday and then chill, relax, get drunk, smoke all the weekend. Yeah. I've learned not to think like that anymore. I've learned like, yo, Nano, even though it's the weekend, it doesn't mean that it's time to chill, relax, and, you know, drink and go out with the boys and stuff. It's like you can still, you know, chill, relax and stuff, but still make it a priority to work on yourself. Because when you're on the journey to becoming a better version of yourself, there really is no days off. There has to be a constant work on yourself, even through the weekend. Because in life, it's really not about what we get. In life is about who we become. And we got to be working every day to become better versions of ourselves. The better version of Nano, the better version of Rebecca. How we can grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically, all areas. Like, how we can grow in all areas. And it's not that we have to change overnight. Yo, 1% every day is good. You know, 1% that we get better mentally, 1% that we get better spiritually, physically every single day, it makes a massive difference. So people setting their intention to make it every day, like, hey, today my goal is to get 1% better, to get better than I did yesterday, to read 10 pages, to get rid of this one habit that's not, you know, serving me right now, to get closer to God. You know, that's something that I feel like a lot of people need to do nowadays, especially with the way the world is working right now, getting closer to God. So, you know, everybody's intention will be different based off of their season, but a lot of what intentions are is just your purpose. What are you looking to create during this specific time?
Yes, I love that. I love that. I hope you guys are jotting down these nuggets and taking notes so that you can start making a better, you know, having a better day, just creating better situations for yourself and for your families. I want to circle back to something you mentioned in the last part about growth environment and fixed environment. Talk a little bit more about growth environments.
Growth environments are important. For me, growth environment, if it wasn't for the growth environments I put myself in, I think I'd still be living in New York City. Because these growth environments, what had happened was everybody around me was hustling. Everybody was trying to figure out how they can become better versions of themselves. You know, in those environments, people are talking about investments, you know, books, health. You know, they're talking about things that are going to help us grow, how we're going to retire our families, you know, real estate, investment ideas, stocks, all these different things. We were never talking about sports. We were never talking about, you know, what we're betting on, you know, our parlays. We weren't talking about that in there. We weren't talking about drugs or girls or any of that stuff. Like, majority of the people in my growth environments, they're married and got kids already. Like, you know, they're men of God, women of God, you know, like everybody there is really on that type of time. And I needed that because I came from a fixed environment. I came from an environment where everybody was talking about drugs and girls and this and the distractions and the drinking on the weekends, and which, you know, I always tell people it's okay because you got to live that stuff to know that you don't want to do it anymore. After a while, you realize it. Like, I'm grateful that I lived it because now I know that's not what I want. You know, I want this. This is what I want. I want to be healthy. I want to, you know, serve God. I want to be able to invest. I want to put my family in position. And even though those things are cool every once in a while, but after a while, you start to realize that there's way more important things than that. And that's what those growth environments made me realize. I'm like, yo, sheesh. Like, I'm the one that was behind the curve. I was like one of the last ones in, you know, type thing. So it was very good and very humbling for me to put myself in those environments because I had great examples that I could now follow. And that's what sometimes most people don't have is good examples to follow, people that are willing to teach them. Because another thing about growth environments is that when you put yourself in them, you know, people naturally gravitate towards you and they want to help you. Like, hey, Rebecca, let me take you to this event. Let me help
Yes.
you out. Here's this course. Hey, here's this book that I read that changed my life, you know? And naturally, because you're in those environments, people naturally offer you a hand to help you grow, to help you elevate, and help you take yourself to the next level. So growth environments are vital,
Yes.
extremely important.
Love it. Oh, you coming with it today. Fire, fire, fire.
Appreciate you. Yeah,
Oh,
no, that's the key.
I love it. So when you have people that come up to you, they're like, Nano, I found you on YouTube. I found you on Instagram, wherever, however, or you are speaking somewhere. How do you stay humble in that moment to where you're not like, oh, you saw me? Like, what is it? How's that moment for you when you're initially approached? And then how do you just kind of push that down to just stay humble and just continue to do the work?
I give all the glory to God. I stay so humble because, I remember when nobody knew me. I remember when, I would just be at home and the only people that knew me were my mom and dad and my little brother
Mm-hmm.
type thing. So for me, it's still a humbling experience still to this day. I mean, the other day I was sitting, I went to the dentist and the girl that was at the front desk, out of nowhere after she helped me sign up for the whole thing. I was getting a little root canal. And she sits there, she's looking at me, and I'm like, yo, why is she looking at me like that? And she just at me, and then she sits there, and she's like, are you related to this guy? I know this guy from New York, and his last name Torres as well, just like you. And because I guess before I had curls, so
Right.
now I have the short hair. So I guess she was thinking, she was like, yeah, he does these morning calls. They're called let me see, they're called mornings with Nano, Nino, something like that. Do you know who he is? Are you related to him in any kind of way? And I'm like, dude, I'm Nano. It's me up here. And she's
I
like,
am
oh,
him.
she's like, oh my God, like, bro, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
She's like, yo, it's so crazy. You look so different with your hair cut. I'm used to you with the curls. But it was such a humbling experience for me because it just goes to show, like, all those years that I served so many people, hundreds and thousands of people that I never really got a chance to see on the other side of the screen. Some of these people had their cameras off or whatever it was, but those people remember me for the calls that I did and the mindset that I was able to shift and the books I recommended and the audios and all of these things. So for me, it's just like I'm just grateful in the moment to just meet people that have that some people don't have the thing to like even come up to me because they think whatever it is. Because I've
Yeah.
had have told me that they're like, yo, I didn't want to come up to you because I was shy or I didn't know if you were gonna talk to me or anything. So the people that do come up to me, I take it with all the love and the grace. I
Yes.
always give them hugs and I'm just always so thankful because I'm always so grateful for it all because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. So I always give him all the glory, all the praise.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was on a panel about 2 weeks ago, and I remember saying in the panel that it's always my prayer that God keeps my heart humble. Because I go places and people do recognize me, even though I may not, know who they are. And I always try to, just still be kind and cordial,
Yeah, I show
but
love. I show
it's
them mad
always,
love. I give them a hug, big
yeah,
smiles. I take pictures. I sign autographs. My friends get so mad at me sometimes because I'm always the last one out in certain places. Because I'll sit there and I take every picture. I'll sign every autograph.
Mhm.
I'll answer every question. Like that's the kind of person I am. So I make everybody late for dinner and everybody's always mad at me, but I'm like, yo, I get to do this, like I'm just so grateful because I don't know when's the next time I'm gonna see them,
Yeah,
So I've learned from my mentor. He always says, like, leave everybody that you meet with an impression of increase,
yes.
like leave them better than you found them. And if I ever get the opportunity to meet somebody that recognizes me, my goal is to always leave them better than I found them, and that's always a goal of mine.
Absolutely. It's always interesting when people are like, "Oh, you're so and so," and you're like, "Me? Like, you know who I am? Okay,
Yes,
yeah."
crazy. I'm like, it's still even still to this day, it's like still such a humbling experience for me,
Yes.
even still to this day. So I'm happy that that's happening to you too as well. And this is only
Yeah.
the beginning, So I'm glad for that. It's good.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. So, what's next for Nano? What's in the horizons for Nano?
So I'm really taking my speaking business very serious this year. I don't know if you know, but I'm bilingual, so I speak English and Spanish. So my goal now is to really expand also into the Spanish side of things. For the last couple of years, that was one of kind of like my limiting beliefs. You know how we all have limiting
Yeah.
beliefs. I had limiting beliefs when it came to speaking in Spanish. And recently I started to do it, and I'm like, yo, I'm actually really good at this. Like, I need to stop thinking that I'm not good at this or whatever it is, that I'm telling myself. So, my goal now is to really expand and really start speaking all around the world in English and Spanish. I want to expand into like coaching as well now, more of the one-on-one coaching, kind of like more like life coaching as well.
Yeah.
I've helped so many people over the years, become successful digital entrepreneurs. But in reality, what I really did was life coach them on life. And because I coached them on life, they became successful business owners. So I was like, yo, what if I can start my own life coaching program where I'm actually coaching people on life, whether they're in my business or not. I want to be able to coach people from all different industries. So I really want to start diving deep into, the life coaching brand, more speaking, merch, retreats, and just really expand and just do more in that area. I want to start speaking in schools, colleges. I want to speak more to the youth as well, because they're the future. So, a lot of more just spreading the word as well, and just, going out there and doing what God put me on this earth to do, which was serve and help people get closer to Him. And that's always the ultimate goal, so He can get all the glory.
Yes. Listen, anything that impacts people and leaves them better than how you found them, I think that is also another award or reward to yourself. But I think it also pleases God when that person is better, right?
Yep.
And so before we close out, last question. What do you feel would be the best or I guess like your ultimate career goal? Like you hit this goal, you've made it. You're at like the pinnacle of everything, all of the work that you put in, all of the grinding, all of the late nights, the early mornings, all of that. What is that moment for you? What will be that moment for you?
I never actually thought about this. Wow.
See, you come on Touch Day Thursday, you get a question. It's gonna make you think.
I always get like, yo, what's the 5-year goal? So, man, to be honest, like, one of my ultimate goals is obviously to buy my parents that house, and I think that would be a huge fulfillment goal for me, more like a personal fulfillment goal, because, my parents did so much for me, growing up through the years, and being able to, repay them back and buy them a house and pay off all their debt and allow them to live that life of financial abundance and freedom. Like, that will fill a huge, huge void in my life, inside of me. Like, it's something that I have empty inside of me because I haven't fulfilled that promise to them yet.
Okay.
So I know that me doing that for them will be able to definitely, fulfill me on a really large scale, which I believe I'm going to be able to do it, within the next, 12 to 24 months, which I'm extremely grateful for. So that would be more like something in the short term. On the long term, Shisha, I want to impact millions of people, Rebecca. Like, I want to really help so many people all around the world, find their purpose. I want more people to find God. And I want God to use me. As long as God is using me, over the next couple of years of my life, and He gives me a long life so I can be able to provide as much service and as much wisdom as I can over the next, 50, 60, 100 years of my life, whatever it is that He's giving me. I just want to be able to serve at the largest scale as I can, and break generational curses, create generational wealth for, the generations to come, and put people in a position to win and to elevate, and just serve, have a huge, crypto portfolio, real estate portfolio, have abundance of wealth, and most importantly, peace of mind and joy. I just want to live a long, happy, peaceful life, and doing what I love, helping others do the exact same, and being a great husband, being a great father, a great leader, a great everything for everybody, and just leading a life. That would be the ultimate goal for me. It's kind of hard to see it all the way through, because I don't know what God has planned for me on the other side of the door, but I know that in the next couple of years, some amazing things are going to happen for me, and I'm just looking forward to it all, to be real.
Absolutely. And I stand in agreement with you on all of that. I believe it's going to happen for you. So before we close out, just take about 30 to 45 seconds just to encourage the people, and also let them know how to contact you, how to find you, and the times and the location of Mornings with Nano.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say to anybody listening to this is, remember, this year is the year where you deserve everything that you want in life. Go get it. This This is not the year where you're gonna go watch everybody win and you sit around chilling, relaxing. Like, I want this to be the year that you go out and get everything that you deserve. But in order for you to do so, you got to remember, you got to do things you've never done to get things you've never had.
Yeah.
So you got to get out of your comfort zone this year. You got to do things you've never done. Go read that book. Go make that investment. Go to that networking event. Go put yourself in environments like me and Rebecca's been talking about today. Put yourself in those growth environments. Find out what kind of events Rebecca's going to, I'm going to. Follow me on social media. See what kind of things I'm doing, what books I'm reading, what kind of things I'm applying on a day-to-day basis. And just put yourself in a position this year to do things you've never done. Because if you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to get things that you've never had. And this is going to be your breakthrough year. So you guys can follow me on Instagram at Long Live Nano. Long Live Neno. People call it Nano, Nino, however you guys say it. And then I go live on YouTube. It's free on YouTube. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 9:30 a.m. Central. You can find me on YouTube under Mornings with Neno, Neno. I also have a podcast. If you can't jump on the live sessions, you could Google me. Mornings with Nano as well. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon. It's all over the place. You can absolutely find it, and it'll all be there. And if you guys have any questions, anything that I could ever do to help you guys out, Rebecca's my family, and anything is always available for you guys. So Rebecca, again, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you and everything that you're doing now, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. I hope that we can make something happen where I can come out to Louisiana, speaking engagement, whatever it is. Maybe we could do an event together, a networking event, and we could get something rocking. But let's keep helping people. Keep being a light, sis. I can see it. You're glowing right now. I know that this is going to be the biggest year of your life. Let's keep running it up, and I'm excited.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
Everyone, this has been Touch Taste Thursday. Make sure you go back and you rewatch this live. You share this live with your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, whoever, because I'm sure that there was something in this live that you found that is going to impact your life, is going to change your life for the better going forward. We'll be back with Touch Taste Thursday in about 2 weeks. My guest then will be Takenya Douglas of Business Besties Brunch. For now, that is all. It's Rebecca with a K. Have a great, great, great weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Thank you.